Well, welcome, Liz Tucker.
Well, thank you.
Well, yes, we're very excited to speak with you today about Filming My Father. And thank you so much for taking the time to sit with Rachel Patterson and myself, Jacquellyne Hengst. I'm from the ALS Hope Foundation, as you know.
And I'm the general manager of the International Alliance of ALS and MND Associations.
So welcome.
Thank you. Good to finally kind of meet you guys. Well, over the video anyway.
Yes. So Liz, we want to dive right in and talk about Filming My Father. And I guess the best place to start would be, where did you get the idea for the film?
Before we start the interview, just one more thing I wanted to check in terms of how we talk about ALS, MND. Should I say ALS, MND, or should I say ALS and MND?
ALS, MND is fine.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm just aware. It's weird, isn't it, how it sort of two cultures evolved?
Yeah.
It is.
We literally just had this discussion.
We did.
Yeah. Okay, fine. That's what I'll do then.
Great.
Well, I guess I've always been fascinated in making films about kind of complex medical subjects. And I met the Isaacs family whose father, Steve, has motor neuron disease. And it seemed to me that when I met them, this was a real opportunity to make a major documentary about ALS, MND in a way that hadn't been done before. Because what we thought we could do was make a film that was completely uncontrived, unreconstructed. We'd actually sort of tell the story from right within the family.
Right.
So to do that, what we planned to do was their son Fraser, who was very kind of keen to do this as well, we gave him a sound equipment. He already had a camera, and we hired him in to actually be within the family so he could capture those kind of moments, the moment that they happen. Meanwhile, I'd come down to shoot the narrative of the story. That way, we thought we had a unique way of telling the story of ALS, MND as it developed moment by moment in a way that I don't think anybody's ever quite attempted before. So I think the result is an unusually kind of intimate and truthful portrait of what it's really like. Of course, I could have just come down myself once a week, but that wouldn't have been quite the same. Because you can't recreate those moments when they happen.
So then, did you have sort of a set schedule when you would go to visit, even despite the condition of the day? I mean, you know, every day is different.
Of course it is. I mean, basically, I was sort of in communication with Fraser, the son, all the time, and if things were changing or if Steve was ill or if he was facing a particular problem, I would then sort of reschedule and organise to go down. So sometimes we had regular filming slots. Other times when things were changing, as of course you know they do, we would sort of then dash down to do some additional filming, or if Steve became ill, for example, or iller than he normally was.
Wow, amazing. So in addition to scheduling, like, what were some of the other challenges that you encountered throughout the process?
Well, I think one of the things that the family were very clear about right from the start was they didn't want to sugarcoat it. They wanted us to show both the bad and the good. And I think, for me, probably the greatest challenge of any film I've ever edited was how you told the story truthfully and accurately, showing everybody's views, but by not sugarcoating it. That's a really hard balance, you know, particularly in moments of trauma and stress. People sometimes kind of say stuff that they don't mean, and you could cut that into the film or show it in a way that, you know, would be really unfair. So that was something I was really kind of conscious of doing. So I'm delighted to say that all the family have seen the film and are incredibly supportive of it. And actually, I think the best compliment was the mum said, I think it's incredibly kind of fair. Because there was no point us making a film saying it's all fantastic, because we know it's not with ALS and MND. It's really tough.
Right.
It is, and you're vulnerable all of the time. So to capture those moments right inside the home, wow, I mean, the impact is incredible, and the courage of the whole family to welcome that into the home, and knowing that, you know, this is something that is going to change the way people view ALS, MND, and it's really profound the way that you have structured it, and the way the family has been so cooperative and agreeing. So,
well, I think for them, having made films about these very kind of complex diseases before, I think sometimes people are really very altruistic and they want to help other people. And obviously, through making a film, we now have the opportunity to reach many millions of people, and we all know the power of film. So, and that's what's so great. So obviously, we have the opportunity to reach, over kind of several million people in the UK, And because BBC Worldwide are selling this film internationally to other broadcasters, potentially we may reach 50 million people. That's a huge, huge number.
It's amazing.
And you know, we can talk about it all we want. We can explain to people the process. But until you are there living in the home, the family, you just can't get it. You can't possibly get it. And the way that you are capturing this is just amazing. So impactful.
I mean, it's interesting, because one of the things, if you'd said to me before, because Steve, the family father who has ALS MND, he's now quadriplegic and he can't speak. And if you'd said to me before the film, would you rather be quadriplegic or lose the ability to speak? I would probably have said lose the ability to speak. But actually, you realise it's losing communication that has a more profound effect, I think, on relationships than anything else. And I'm sure if you said to the person in the street, they'd probably say, I would rather lose my voice than be completely paralysed. But actually, that's not the case, I don't think, once you realise.
Right.
No, and the MND Association, who you've worked with through this process, the MND Association in England, are recently have started a campaign specifically to speak out for the rights of patients to be able to use communication devices in the UK. Selfies Against Silence. So it's really interesting, and it's so important. We find in the Alliance, and as we
that's really hard for visitors. If there's two people, perhaps they can chat amongst themselves, and Steve can throw in the odd comment. But people find it awkward. They find themselves sort of talking at Steve, because what else do you do if somebody can only communicate, one sentence every 5 or 10 minutes? And then you also find when we're in a family group, of course, Steve is, he still is an incredibly kind of sociable man if he had the chance. So he's typing up a sentence, and of course, that's throwing back perhaps to a conversation we were having 10 minutes before. So he's always trying to catch up.
If I could say I've learned one thing about working with individuals with MND, it's about being present and really staying present with them and experiencing their life force for where they are, who they are, despite lack of communication. You sort of go beyond that. Okay, we're not talking, but we're still present for one another, and that I find to be the most powerful experience in the work we do. Did you find? Do you find that you, even though there is not a lot of communication, as rapid as it typically be, how do you feel about the presence of just, being there?
Well, I think for Steve, it's made a big difference him being in the family home, because he can have that kind of presence, so he can experience things that his family are doing. So secondhand, he can get kind of excited about one of his kids going for a job interview, sort of kind of laugh at what's going on in the family home. I mean, I think even in the trailer you see, I don't know if both of you have seen the trailer of the film. Well, you see when he's moving his father, and they're both laughing. It's actually kind of one of my favourite kind of little scenes in the film, because I just think it tells you an awful lot about their relationship.
They still laugh together.
Yeah, and in fact, Debbie, his wife, was saying the other day, they were teasing one of the carers who's trying to grow some chilies, and she painted a green chili red, and she and Steve were laughing about it because the carer was very excited, thinking he'd grown a kind of red chili, and they were, kind of in his. So I think you kind of have to change what you get joy from on some level, don't you? You have to kind of change your kind of expectations. When we were out in the garden a few months ago, we were just shooting a scene with the family all together in the garden, and there's a British kind of hospital kind of soap called Casualty, and they had a motor neuron disease patient story recently, or ALS patient story recently. And Fraser, the son, said to the dad, you'd be perfect. We could use you as an actor. You'd be perfect playing an ALS MND patient. And Steve just slowly typed up, can't move, can't act. So you still get those moments.
That's great. That is so great. These moments, are just, God, they're priceless. And, you're just experiencing reality and just the realness of people, and no matter what they're in. Yeah.
So you still have that personality, that individualism, despite your identity is not completely taken over by the disease, which is another really important
Yeah. Well, Steve's always been a really kind of straight-talking character. So, you know, kind of, basically, you know, if he doesn't like something, he'll still be kind of very clear that he doesn't like something. And when his daughter was trying on kind of dresses for a party, Steve was there giving his opinion. And Debbie, the mum, was saying, but, you know, he doesn't know anything about fashion. And Hannah said, no, but he's honest.
Oh, great.
So you can still say kind of yes, you know, kind of yes or no.
Right.
Wow. So, but that's why I think, in many ways, being in a bigger group is easier for him because Steve can drop in, you know, kind of a comment. But when it's that one-to-one, that's much harder, isn't it? Because it's slower.
Pressure.
Yeah.
And I think now also, you know, Steve spends a lot of time just kind of, you know, staying alive because at his level of illness, there's an awful lot to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is.
It can be.
And particularly now he's had the tracheostomy.
There are so many challenges that come with that.
So, is there? I mean, we have talked about, you know, your mission and your messaging. But is there anything that you would like to say through the Alliance and the ALS Hope Foundation to the international ALS MND community? Any way that we can help you get the word out? We, of course,
we would absolutely kind of love your help in raising kind of awareness of ALS MND through our project. And if you're able to encourage, you know, as many of your members as possible to kind of follow our social media links, like them, post them, share them, that would be fantastic, because we don't want that just to stop when the film goes out here. And of course, the film isn't just going to go out once; it'll go out a number of times in the UK and then be, you know, broadcast across the world. So, I mean, if it's useful now, I can give you those links. Would that be helpful?
Please do your plug.
Okay, I'll do my plug. Okay. Well, we've got our Facebook page, which is called Filming My Father in Life and Death. Our YouTube trailer, which is also called Filming My Father in Life and Death, and our Twitter account, which is Verveprods. I'll just spell that to be absolutely clear: VERVEPRODS, and our hashtag is Filming My Father. So yeah, the more people that can get behind that, post stuff, link us to stuff, you know, we want to just make as much kind of attention as we possibly can, you know, and bring in as many people with ALS, MND from all over the world.
Yeah.
You know, because
we will certainly.
You know,
yeah. And if you are a follower of the Hope Foundation or of the Alliance, we have both shared those links through our social media accounts.
Well, yeah, so, you know, kind of, and, you know, if you can post them to every single person on the planet you can think of, that would be absolutely fantastic. I mean, the exciting thing about this film is, you know, there's lots of kind of ways to raise attention, but, you know, television is an incredibly powerful one. And certainly in the UK, it's very rare to have films about ALS, MND. You know, they may feature in a kind of longer documentary, but to have one whole hour just about the disease is a fantastic opportunity. So we really think we've got a unique opportunity here to educate so many millions of people. That's really what we want to do.
Fantastic.
You're doing it, Liz, and we are grateful. We are so grateful to, you know, thank you for connecting with us and for, you know, really like going out on a limb here and tackling this endeavor. It's a huge endeavor, and you know, the emotional part of the journey is like definitely the hardest part. And, you know, as I'm sure you've been very affected by everything that you've seen, and we will do our best, our ultimate best to get this information out. We will, you know, have this shown, and we'll plug all of your links for everything. So
fantastic.
I want to say thank you, Liz Tucker, for Productions, Filming My Father, due out March
11th.
It's due out in the UK in the 11th of March, 7 p.m. on Channel 5, and I've just lost your picture.
Yeah, we're getting a little error message.
A little error.
But we have audio.
Yeah, we have audio. Well, okay, Liz, so we will speak soon. We are sending you love and good wishes. And
well, thank you so much, and it was lovely to speak to both of you.